Right, okay. Yeah, earlier today I did an unboxing. A little bit later on, it's come to now. I'm going to do what I actually set out to do, which is to show the integration of the revised sets into the existing Shadows of Brimstone. What to do if you already have like a City of the Ancients or Swamp of Death, and you've just bought the revised. You've got all these card bricks and the various different enemy sheets and so on. How do you integrate them in? So yeah, these are the card bricks. Here we go from the two revised sets, and here's my existing Shadows of Brimstone card set. So we'll do the cards first. Yeah, in case anyone was like new to Shadows of Brimstone and they see all this, don't worry about this. This is not one set. This is pretty much everything that's available at retail at the moment. You've got basically the Forbidden Fortress, the City of the Ancients, Swamps of Death, and then you've got all the various different other world boxes, Tagano, Tridara, Derelict Ship, Cinder, Blasted Waste, all of those. So basically here you've got like threats at this end, gear at this end, then you've got all the various different worlds and their cards, and then you've got all the different heroes, including the additional heroes you can buy, and then you've got special cards for enemies there. So that's why that's huge compared to just these. So first up, open up the first card brick, the one with encounters on, and one of the things to note is that unlike the previous core sets, they've now got their identifiers either in the bottom left or sort of bottom right, or sorry, mid right up there. This one is saying SD, which means it's Swamps of Death. Fortunately, and this is what makes this easy. If you go for the quick and simple way, I say quick and simple. The only existing sets that don't have that are the core sets. So we'll just open this up and I'll show you how you can very easily separate them out. So we've got encounters, which we can put there. You've got the two world cards. There's no change, so those are much the same as before. You've then got all these gear cards like that. Here are the Tagano maps, which we'll come to, I'll talk about in a moment. Like that. And there is the maps from the mines, House of Swamp of Death. So those are like that. I'm also now going to open up the same brick from City of the Ancients. And I'm going to hope it's the same. And we've got the same cards in here. I do. So again, got the encounters from the mine. Like that. Got two world cards. Again, no change that I can see. I don't think there was any change. Yeah. So over there. Gear cards. Like that. Those are the stuff you find. Tiger Plateau map cards and mine cards. Yeah, mine cards. I'm just going to open these up to make sure there's no more of those decks. I'll sort those, come up with those decks first. Okay, what we've got, special rules. Then go to a side bags. Side. Epic threats, high level threats, the red ones, medium level threats, the yellow ones, green for low threats, tiger artifacts, growing dread cards, mine artifacts. Next one. Basically just getting all the decks out in front of me now to start. I realised double checking just to make sure. Don't bend that one by one. There we go. So as we've got more side bags. Got there. Got the Otherworld Frets from Swamps of Jagano. Darkness cards. I've opened up the odd brick. I haven't had the darkness cards. Sermons and Judgments. Talked about those earlier. Over there. We've then got the special abilities of each class. Starting gear. Personal items. Everyone starts with personal items. Starting gear is different by class. Then you've got the scavenge and loot decks for basically searching. Okay, so we'll put those over there. Right, Tiger Plateau. Tiger Plateau. Yeah. Here we go. So we're getting a little bit of an unboxing here in addition to how to integrate the discussion. There we go. And this is going to be very, very similar. We've got Tiger Plateau encounters. Tiger Plateau, Otherworld Threats. Darkness cards. Character special abilities. Starting gear for the characters. Personal items. Scavenge and loot. Once again. The last brick. Static there, out of the way. So, special rules. Over there, Swamps of Jagano encounters. Epic threats. High level threats. Medium level threats. Low level threats. Jagano artifacts. Growing Dread, Mine artifacts. There you go, all out. There we go. So one of the first things to do, which is if you've got both sets, is going to do something real quick, real simple, because it doesn't matter. So I'm going to take that gear, put it with that. It doesn't matter. They both go together. They're both fully compatible. There's no reason not to do that. So that counters do the same. And look at this. We're going to do the low level threats. Medium level threats, the high level threats, the epic level threats, they all go together. The two mine decks, they go together. Some people want to take out the passages because otherwise it feels like they get, if I have a look, showing here, we find a passage, there you go, like these mid passages, short passages. Some people feel that if you do this and just ram them all together like that, you end up with too many passages. I've never found it a problem, so there you go, passengers galore. What we're not going to do is do anything with like the Jagano. So the Jagano stays separate. The Otherworld Threat for Jagano stays separate. That's the Otherworld Tiger, sorry. The Otherworld Threat for Jagano stays separate. As does all the Tiger stuff. That stays separate. So Tiger, Tiger Threat, Tiger Artifacts, Tiger Encounters. Jagano Artifacts, Jagano Encounters. Those stay separate because they're for their own world. Mine artifacts go together, mine artifacts like that. Two growing dreads, they can go together. Darknesses, they go together. Those are the ones you sort of play with in play most of the time. Starting gear, you may as well keep them together. They're what you get at the start of the game for each class, so you may as well put them together. You're going to keep them separate anyway. Personal items, again, much the same, no reason not to put them together. You get one from this combined deck for each character. And you can put these, I mean, I'm going to separate them out because I do that just so to make it easier, but these special abilities for characters, they can be just put together for the moment and left aside. What you do not do though is these decks, the scavenge and loot decks. You don't put them together. So just to make sure people can see which decks I'm talking about. Scavenge, these decks stay separate. And the reason is, during the game, you only use one. You only ever need one during a game. So I keep them separate for that reason. And it's the same for the loot. There you go, the two loot decks. They're identical, same with the scavenge, there's two scavenge decks are identical, but you only ever need one when you're playing the game. So yeah, keep one out as separate. Right, so we've consolidated the revised stuff. Now, how am I then going to put that integrated with my existing one? So let's take, I'm probably going to go in at the deep end here. If you see, if I can get it out, this is going to take a bit of finesse to get it out sometimes. There we go, get a bit out. There you go. So this, looking like that, is my gear deck. This is my gear deck for Shadows of Brimstone. There's no FOFO in there, it's all Shadows of Brimstone. And this is including not just the gear cards from the base set, this is like the gear cards from almost everything retail has produced is now inside there. So how are we going to put this into that? I mean, you could do that, you could just go smack, put it on top, shuffle it in, and you've now got all the new cards from the revised sets into your gear deck. But what you'll also still have is all the gear cards from the original core sets, the original City of the Ancients and the original Swamps of Death. So there'll be a lot of duplication there you're adding in. And also, these aren't identical. The ones that are in here are not identical to the ones that are put in here. There's been some tweaks, there's been some play improvements that have gone on. So these are actually a little bit different. So how are we going to go through this deck and then take out all the old core sets to put these in? Well, it comes down to that symbol. As you can see, I just put the gear on like that. You can see up there, just below my finger, is the symbol. This one is Swamps of Death. That's a Swamps of Death gear card bandage. By looking at this deck, I won't find that. I won't find an SD symbol up there in any of them, because as we said before, the original core sets didn't have that, but every other set does. And this is where I'm going to do a bit of editing, because what I'm now going to do is I'm going to go through this deck and I go, this, has it got a symbol? Yeah, it has actually. So put it aside. Symbol? Yeah, put it aside. Symbol? No, this one doesn't have a symbol. So we'll put that, so you can't see that. So that's one pile with the symbols. Has that got a symbol there? It doesn't, no. So that's from one of the original core sets. Place it separate. Journal pages, no symbol. Place it separate. Symbol, no symbol. See what I'm doing? These two piles are building up like that. And by the time I've gone through this deck and done this entirely, I'll have one pile here that will be every core set card, and one pile here which will be every card that's not. So as I say, some editing is about to take part. I'm going to put these in front of me to do this, and then I will speed this up. So one moment. Sometime later, some sorting was done. So this is the stack we're taking out. These are the old revised set. This is the other ones from other expansions. We've all got, all got the symbols on, so they can be put over there to one side. And this is the new revised set stack that's going to go there. One thing I'm going to show you though is if I put them next to each other like that, there we go. You can see there is a slight difference. There is slightly more from the old ones coming out than the new ones going in. That is deliberate, that is on purpose. The difference is, in the old ones, all the kind of unique and funky gear is still in there, exactly the same. In fact, some of it's improved or altered a little bit. There's been some erratas. But all the what has gone out though is 2 bandages, 2 tonics, 2 dynamite, 2 whiskey, yeah, So there's like 8 cards that have been taken out that just give you more side tokens. That's all these ones do. And it's basically because they're just padding. They are outright padding. Those are things you can just buy in town. There's other ways to get hold of them. So they were just padding the deck out. So that's 8 cards removed. So yeah, that's the gear cards done. So we can put these ones, I don't know, donate to your local charity, taking the recycling. We're never going to need them again. So I managed to mess that up. This is the new gear stack. I'm obviously going to have to shuffle it at some point before a game. The new gear stack goes back in like that. So there you go, gear sorted. As you can probably see, we're just going to repeat that process throughout all the common decks. So that was gear. Next up we've got here we've got darkness. So we take out the darkness deck. There we go. Once again, that deck is darkness from basically all the expansions. That deck is the one with the revised. So what I need to do is take this big deck, which has got a whole bunch of stuff in, some of which, like that one, has no symbol on, so that's original core set. Others like that, which do have a symbol on. Don't know if you can just see it there in the bottom left. That one's from one of the ally sets. So, out of this deck, old core sets, to be replaced by these ones, the new ones. Again, bear with me a moment, we'll just do that. Right, okay, done the same. All the ones with no symbols on, which the original core sets are in here, taken out. Into the pile of taken out cards. The expansion cards, plus the new revised cores, go together, bang, done. There's no difference on the number of cores, there's 30 cores, 30 in either one, so don't worry about what was changed there. So if we just go back to the darkness, that new darkness deck is done. Growing Dread, take the Growing Dread out. Same principle, once again, let's look for no symbols. No symbols, no symbols. There you go, there's a promo. So all the no symbol ones, they're the original core sets, take them out. These ones keep aside for one moment. Okay, done. Once again, 14 from the original core sets coming out, 14 from the new revised sets going in. Like that. Growing Dreads, done. Okay. Right, on to the next one. Low threats. Again, that's my giant stack of low threats after I've got, you know, a whole bunch of enemy expansions and so on. That is the low threat from the core games. So take the ones out of here with no symbols on, put them to one side, and then put in these ones, which are the new revised ones in. And as you can see, we're going to do this for pretty much every single deck here. So I'm not going to bore you with that. I'm going to do it, and then all I'm going to do is point out when there are any differences and what those differences mean. But that's the general principle, is take out of one deck everything that's not got a symbol, replace with everything that does have a symbol. So yeah, just what I'm going to do now is the loot and scavenge decks. I'm going to get them out. There you go. Obviously I had kept them separate here as 2 different stacks of 2, but they can, so they're the old ones, they can go away. You only really need 1 loot, 1 scavenge. These ones are now spares. So yeah, the next pause is when we're doing the encounters. Obviously I've stripped the old encounters out, the old mine encounters out. Here is the new mine encounters to go in, and here's the pile of extra expansion mine encounters. So we'll put those together. But there is a slight difference. In the old encounters, you had these two cards. You had these two look out encounters. All they did was they just drew a threat. Pretty mundane, pretty boring. And they've replaced them with two dark shadows, which are, both of them are different, do a similar thing, but they're actually different. They use different skill checks. So it replaced the sort of mundane draw threat with two actual encounters. So there you go, that is the difference in the encounter deck. Going back in now. Right, I'm just going to pause with the map deck for a moment here. So obviously here's the 36 cards I've just taken out of the map deck from the old core sets. Here's the stack of mines cards in the map decks from my expansions, and here is the 36 mines cards to go back in. Now they are, I mean, as far as I can tell, they are identical. This 36 and this 36 are identical, so the only reason you're doing this is purely basically to add these little symbols in. So you could just go 36 out, 36 in. I'm not going to do that because I'm mad and I'm crazy and I'm a fool. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to keep some of these as well, because obviously I've got the map tiles, I've got a double set of map tiles, may as well use them. It's going to dilute the deck a little perhaps, but deck dilution is a problem in Shadows of Brimstone, regardless of what you do this. There are a couple of solutions that other game companies have had to this kind of deck dilution problem. We'll see if the frogs feel the need to use them. But for the moment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 36 of these, put them in, and then I'm going to go through this deck and I'm going to remove all those passages because they're pretty dull and tedious, and I've got loads of them anyway. So all the passages, like that, all the passages out. Okay, which means I'm putting in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So I'm putting 24 in, so I've got 24 duplicates. And some of these are like lots of duplicates, like there's going to be probably now 8 mining rooms, or 8 rail tunnels in my entire deck. But my deck is pretty big, even with these going back in. So there you go, there's my really quite stacked up mine deck. Obviously, that's just me. I'm just doing that because I'm mad and I'm crazy and I like big decks, and I like some of the odd combinations this is going to potentially throw out. I could have a waterfall next to another waterfall and so on. But yeah, you may not want to do that. You may want to just stick with one set of 36. But anyway, so map deck going back in. Okay, so that's mine artifacts. I'm just going to stop here for a moment as well because there's a bit of a difference. Previously, there's 26 I think in each of these stacks which are identical. They're not identical, there's slight up changes in erratas in the new revised, so I'm just put those there. Again, if you wanted to, you could dilute again by putting these ones back in there. There's no reason you couldn't, but I'm not going to because again they are erratas. There are more recent printing versions in there, so I'm going to use those. However, there's a disparity for the final 2 cards. In the original ones, there is 2 each of these, which are draw a Gigano or a Targa artifact. There's now only 1 of each of these in the artifact decks, and instead you have an extra Darkstone Bullets and an extra Horrific Statue. Again, not particularly sure what that change is for, but okay, seems fine. You're changing, you're getting rid of those Gigano or Targa artifacts for some of the mine artifacts you already have. Not sure it was a massively needed change, but there we go. I think that is everything on that line. However, I'm now running out of space in this. Look at this. I can't put the artifacts in. There's too many. And that's a problem for another time. I'm going to have to solve that later. So yeah, moving on to Targa Plateau. There we go. This is the maps, threats, encounters and artifacts for the Targa Plateau. So let's go with the artifacts. Let's keep the artifacts. Go to the Targa artifacts. Again, separate out the promos. For anyone wondering where I get the promos from, there are card expansion packs you can get from the Flying Frog web store. They often do 3 for 2 deals, and so if I'm buying something else and there's some of these available, I go, sure, why not? Let's grab some extra artifacts in this case for Targa. So there's those. Because otherwise there's only about 10. There's only about 10 artifacts in there. New ones: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So what's new? What's new in the new ones? I think I saw it. What's new there? But yeah. So void collectors. They're not in here. That I saw. No. Couple of crystals, couple of isopods, and then a bunch of singles. So we've got a couple of isopods, a couple of crystals, plasma rock, plasma integrator, an accentuator, deflection. We've got, yeah, so it looks like a cryo canister as well. So it looks like there's a couple. There you go, a couple of new artifacts going into the Targa deck. Otherwise, much the same. There might be some erratas there I didn't really check. But yeah, those coming out. Yeah, not surprised. Once again, the Lookout card, which is just draw a threat, is out. And it's replaced by a Shadows card, in this case a Cold Shadows for Targa. So there we go, that is the artifacts and encounters done. I'll just do something, there we go. Look at the threats. Again, enemy packs have added in threats here, so we need to take those out. There we go. In fact, there's only 5 from the original 4 sets, 5 threats. There is now 6. So what have we got extra? Or what have I missed out? 2 snow terrors, 1 Targa pylon, wandering enemy, ancient spider. So the difference is there an extra Targa pylon, or have I just messed it up? No. So there is now an extra Targa pylon enemy card in the threat deck. Now we get to the map. Okay, so there's the same map tiles. I'm going to do the same as I did for the mine map. I'm going to take the passages out of this one. Like that. Duplicate it up, put it back in. So now I've got an even bigger Targa deck than map deck than I had before. And now I'm just going to repeat that process for Jagano. encounters, threats, map, artifacts. Well, let's do the map again first. The difference is, you forgot, there is a promo. Yeah, so there's a word of warning, just in case anyone does the same as me. There is, of course, the expedition encampment from Lost Army, which is a Targa tile. So that's why I just counted the different numbers and got confused. But yeah, same as I've done elsewhere. Let's take the passages out. Put them together. That's my new Targa map. Sorry, my new Garno map deck with that expedition encounter that I've just found. Okay, so yeah, there is a slight difference here. The new artifact deck has 2 more artifacts in the Garno deck. There is an extra talisman and bow that was not in the original artifacts from the core set. Right, okay, slight difference in the enemies. It looks like there's 1 extra bog bat. There's 6 here, there's 5 here, and the difference is a bog bat. 2 swamp slashes, 1 ring enemy, 3 bog bats as opposed to 2 bog bats. Just checking. Yep. So more bog bats. As predicted, the lookout, which is just draw a threat from the old encounter deck, has been replaced by this time a murky shadows. So there we go, old encounters out, new encounters in. Right, okay. I'm going to stop there pretty much, because whilst we've got some things left, what we've got left is sermons and judgments for the preacher and the nun. This is a straight swap. You just take out the old ones, put the new ones in. There aren't any, unless you've got any sort of promos or stuff, there aren't any extra ones, so they just go straight in. Same for the starting gear. You just take out the old ones, put the new ones in. Same for the personal items. Take the old ones out, put the new ones in. There shouldn't be anything else additional for these. And again, same for all the character skills. These are errata, there's quite a few in here that are different. So again, out with the old, just put the new in. There's no sort of having to shuffle through or mix and match them. What's left is you've got your side-bag tokens and your rules cards, which you generally just have lying around anyway as useful if you need them, if you can't remember all the rules. That is my extra spare set of scavenge and loot. But that is, oh yeah, there's your world cards. Again, if you want to, you can change them out for the ones you've currently got. But that's it. That is how to integrate and swap out your old, in this case this big pile here, as you can see, your old core set cards, putting in the new core set where needed. What I'm going to do in the next video is show how this works with integration into Forbidden Fortress, or at least how I've done it. There's obviously some nuances as to how you do it. It's your game, play it how you like. Mine, the nuance I did here, I padded out my map decks. You could just swap them in and out. I padded them out so I could have more map choice, more map options. There you go, that's this one. That's integration of revised into old. And then we'll do FOFO in a moment.